Hey, what's good, fellas? This is Trey. Welcome to this presentation. I wanted to talk about this idea of letting people be exactly as they are. Now, here's what I mean by that. You know, sometimes we'll have a conversation with someone and we will clearly see maybe they're seeing things from a perspective that is not supporting them, right? It's not helping them move forward. It's not helping them achieve their goals. And so we may be quick to put our perspective on them or try to get them to see our point of view or try to push them to do something. And what I found, man, that's not the best way to do it, man. We want to get to this place where we're not resisting anyone's communication or anyone having their own perspective of their own truth. Even if you know, man, if this person would just do this, they would be so much better, whatever. We need to be able to accept people for who they are. When we're communicating to them, we want to accept them 110%. Now, if you feel like you can help someone, the best thing you can do is lead by example, right? I don't argue with people. I really don't. I can't tell you the last time I got into an argument. I don't argue with people, okay? I know what I'm about. I know my truth. I know what's working, and I lead. And those who see what I'm doing are inspired or see some truth in what I'm doing or see results or see success in what I'm doing, they can follow, right? Or we can have a conversation about it. But I'm not going to push anything on anyone who's not ready for it or who is not trying to hear it, right? I'm not trying to change anybody, right? I put my message out for those who want to improve, for those who maybe they've been doing something one way and they're looking for another way to do it. But I accept everyone's truth. I let people voice their opinion. I let people have their perspective because I don't know what that person has been through. I don't know why he has that perspective, right? Maybe there's a very good reason why he's seeing things the way he's seeing it. And I need to understand him first. I need to have a conversation and sit down and really listen before I start saying, no, you should do it this way. No, my way, the highway. No, I don't do that, man. I just lead by example. And then if somebody comes to ask me a question, somebody needs help, then great. But I don't force anything on anyone. I'm not resisting anyone's beingness, right? I let people be as they are. I don't let them trigger me. I don't get triggered. Somebody might say something, have a view that opposes my view. I don't get triggered. I'm like, look, man, every man can have his perspective. Every man can have his opinion, and that's cool. We can have a conversation, and I'm open-minded. I'm open to listen to what the person has to say. Who knows? Maybe he might have maybe the way he's doing things, maybe I should look at how he's doing it. Maybe it's working better than my way, right? But if I'm closed-minded, I would never be able to see that, and vice versa, right? So one of the things you want to do if you want to become a better communicator is learning to accept people for who they are. Stop trying to change people. Stop trying to force your views on people, force your perspective on people. Accept them from who they are. Now, if you truly want to help someone, the best way to help them is start with acceptance, full acceptance. Listen to their perspective, listen to their truth, see where they are coming from, right? If you feel like they're moving in the wrong direction or whatever, right? Maybe they're just not, they don't know, they don't have the same awareness or the same experiences you've had. And you just have to understand that and have a conversation with this person, talk to them, keep doing what you're doing, lead by example, right? And if you truly feel you can help them, maybe make a suggestion, but through conversation, right? Once you really get to understand this person and they're comfortable with you, then you can kind of say, hey, man, I see what you're doing or whatever. Here's what I'm doing, right? Let me know what you think, right? It's not, hey, man, what you're doing is wrong. Do it. No, bro, that stuff doesn't work and it's just not right. It's not cool, okay? You don't know the person, right? To be honest with you, we don't know anybody. Okay, you can know somebody for years and then they can do some crazy shit out of nowhere that you never expect. And it's like, what? You did that? Yeah, because you don't fully know anybody, right? It's not like we spend time with someone 24/7. We don't see what they're doing behind closed doors. We don't know, they could be putting up a facade. They could be really good at being one way, but they're actually another way. We don't know. And so it's just having this understanding of, man, we just need to accept people for who they are. And that's how you really can build friendships and build strong relationships and trust with people, is when they see that you are not trying to force anything on them or trying to change them or anything. You accept them for who they are and you just lead, right? You just lead. If you have a certain view or a certain way of doing things and you believe that it works and it can help others, then be the example, right? Let it shine. Shine your light. And those who want to change, or those who want to do things differently, or those who feel like they're not getting the results they want, and they see that you are, then they will come and reach out to you and say, hey man, I see what you're doing, I'd like to do it too, or I'd like to have a conversation or whatever. It's because you lead by example. That's the best way to help someone, is by leading by example. And then having a conversation, an open-minded conversation where you're not resisting the person's communication, right? People have their beliefs, and when somebody comes to them and says something that opposes their belief, all of a sudden they get triggered. No, man, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't do that, man. I don't do that, because all that does, when you argue with someone, all you're doing is helping them strengthen their argument, right? Arguing is just not smart. Like if you're just arguing for fun, like if you're arguing about basketball teams and stuff like that, that's whatever. But I'm talking about like you're arguing to get your point across. That shit doesn't work, because all you're doing is helping the other person strengthen their argument. They don't want to lose. They don't want you to beat them in the argument. So you just butting heads or whatever. That's not communication, man. And I use this principle with women too. This is how you get women, is by accepting them for who they are, but still leading as a man, right? If you feel like she's not doing the right thing or she's not moving in the right direction, you continue to lead, right? And give her time to see your value. That's another thing. When you're communicating to someone, right? Maybe you feel like you have a better viewpoint, or you have a way you can help the person, or a different outlook on things. Give them time to see that. Right? Don't just put it in their face right away. Hey, man, you're wrong. Da da da. Give them time to see. People need time to understand your value and get a clear, internalize or process what you're saying or what you're doing. You don't want to push it on them right away. And so I just learned this, right? Because my thing is, as a man, you want to constantly improve your communication skills. You want to constantly improve your ability to influence others. You want to be able to create a good vibe, a positive vibe. You're not going to be able to create a positive vibe if you're forcing your views on people, and you're making people wrong, and making people feel stupid, and thinking you're better than. No, man, that stuff is not cool. It doesn't work. It's not effective, right? So it's just getting to this point, man, of just like accepting people for who they are, man. Not trying to change nobody, not trying to resist people's communication, being able to not be triggered emotionally. You see, we end up in these arguments sometimes. We're like, yo, how did I even get in that argument? Because you allowed the person to trigger you emotionally. You got to be strong as a man. You can't be walking around being easily triggered because someone says something that you don't like, or somebody's doing something that you don't like. Accept people for who they are, man. If somebody has an opposing view, it's because they had a different experience than you, right? Maybe if you had their experience in life, maybe you would have the same view they have. So we got to be able to put ourselves in other people's shoes and get outside of ourselves. That's how we can be better able to communicate with people and connect with people, is by putting ourselves in their shoes and trying to see things from their perspective. When you talk to somebody, it's like, instead of trying to think of what's the next thing to say, like really listen to what they're saying, really get what they're saying, and really understand, okay, I wonder why he thinks that, right? When people come to me with like negative mindsets and stuff like that, I really listen. I'm like, man, I wonder how he came to that mentality. Like, if somebody's thinking negatively or whatever, and I can understand it, because I've had times where I've been in a negative state of mind, okay? And so I can relate to it, right? I was able to overcome it and get out of it. But, I can relate to someone. I understand, okay, it's certain experiences that someone's going through that leads to their way of thinking, their way of believing, their outlook on life. And so if they're coming to you, if you're having a conversation with someone and you're butting heads, don't butt heads. Accept them for who they are. Say, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I see your point of view. Okay, I can see that, and really try to see that. Don't just say that just to say it. Like really try to see where they're coming from. Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. Like try to put yourself in their shoes, right? Or if you're still not understanding it, maybe get the backstory. Like, how did you come to that understanding, bro? Or how did you come to that belief? Or how did you come to that outlook or whatever? Really try to understand a person, and then they will see that you're not just here to push your ego or to feel better about yourself or knock them down. You truly want to understand where they're coming from, right? And that's how you gain someone's trust. That's how you get people to really open up to you and be vulnerable, because they see that you're not like everyone else trying to force your opinion and be right, and you're just trying to have a conversation, right? And have a productive conversation and maybe even learn something. I'm open to learn. I believe I can learn something from anyone. You can learn from kids. I learn from kids all the time. Kids teach me, they teach me the power of imagination, man. They teach me the power of creativity, the power of not giving a fuck. Obviously, they shouldn't be using those words, but they really don't give a fuck, man. They just do whatever they want. They jump around. They don't, and they show you, they also, man, you can learn this positive spirit, how to create a positive, good vibes, man. Kids are good at that. So, but I believe, the point I'm making is, I believe I can learn from anyone, but the only way you can be this way is by being open-minded and being strong as a character, right? It's not like I go around changing my views all the time, like, oh, I'm listening to this person, they make a good point, and I'm like, okay, let me change my whole philosophy. No, I just listen to what they say, and okay, all right, I can see that, all right, right? And if anything, if it makes some sense to me, I might look into it, I might research it or whatever. But I still am grounded in my philosophy. You gotta have, as a man, you gotta have your core philosophy, your core values, right? So you're not being strung, pulled around like a puppet on a string like that. But even though you have your core philosophy and your values and things like that, it doesn't mean that you should be closed-minded and not able to hear what anyone has to say. And I learned that the weakness in that, there's a weakness when you're closed-minded. You become weak because you're not open to grow. You're not open to challenge your beliefs and see maybe there's a more powerful belief out there. Okay, and sometimes it's hidden within people that you wouldn't expect. But if you're not open-minded, if you're judging people by how they look and judging books by its cover, and that shit is just gonna keep you in a box, right? So if you want to elevate your thinking, if you want to become more aware, more conscious, all these great things, evolve as a man, right? Let's be a better communicator, and one of the ways to do that is to accept people for who they are. Stop trying to change people. Stop trying to win the argument. Forget about all that shit, man. Just relax and have a light conversation, right? When I have a conversation with someone, I want to have a light conversation. I want to end the conversation with a smile on my face. I don't want to end the conversation like, man, that guy is stupid, man. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Or as I said, man, I haven't been in an argument in a long time. I don't argue. For what? Okay, if you have an opposing opinion, you should be able to state your opinion. I should be able to listen to it and say, okay, all right, cool. I should be able to say my opinion. You should be able to listen to it, cool. And then we go from there. But we shouldn't be like, hey, you're wrong. All right. So look, fellas, that is a topic for today. If you would like to work together one-on-one, if you're working on a goal right now and you'd like some accountability, some support, some guidance, right? It's something you're working on and you really want to go after the 110%. All right. I have this program. It's called the Unbreakable Beast Program. All right. I'll basically be putting you through the same exact process I use. When I have a goal, when I have something I want to achieve, there's a specific process that I put myself through. There's a specific ritual that I use. Okay. Behind the scenes, there's certain things that I'm doing consistently that are helping me to evolve and achieve my goals and become the best version of myself. Right? So if you'd like to get this process and you'd like to work together and start evolving, becoming a beast, let me know. I'll give you the details. Thanks for watching. Peace.